Okay, we're going to make a start now. Good morning and welcome to this multi-location meeting of the Environment Regeneration and Streetscene Services Scrutiny Committee on the 12th of January 2024. I'm Councillor Sean Pierce, I'll be chairing today. As usual, please make sure your phones are switched to silent during the meeting. And if you do wish to speak, please raise your electronic hand on Teams and in Teams and follow to speak. For the purpose of declarations today, we'll be scrutinising item 7, 8, 10, 12 and 13 on the Cabinet Board papers. So I'll now move on to declarations on agenda item 2. Are there any declarations of interest?
I see no indications, Chair.
I think we did have one very recently from
Neath.
Yeah. Councillor John.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Sorry, Chair, I was just struggling to get my hand up then. Yes, I have a declaration of interest. I work for Transport for Wales, but I'm permitted to speak.
And that's in relation to agenda item 8.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I can't see any more indications for declaration, so we'll move on to agenda item 3, which is minutes of the previous meeting. Meetings on pages 5 to 18 of our scrutiny papers. Can I have a proposal in a second that they're an accurate record of the meetings, please?
I propose, Chair.
Proposed by Councillor Tim Bowen and a seconder.
I'll second, Chair.
So Rosen Davis, thank you. So we'll now move on to the Cabinet Board agenda for pre-decision scrutiny. So we'll start with item 7, which is the Dangerous Dogs Act 1991, stray and abandoned XL bulldogs, change of operational practice. That's on pages 17 to 22 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, would like to add anything to the report before I go to questions from members?
Nothing to add, Chair. Happy to take questions.
Thank you, Kerry. So my first question is from Councillor Sarah Thomas. Sarah.
Thank you, Chair. So it's just to make sure that officers are aware that there is a petition at government at the minute that passed the threshold, where there's been requested that the stage 2 be delayed by 18 months. And they did make a response, but the committee that looks at petitions then came back and said that the response didn't answer the delay. So they're looking at it again. So just to make sure that officers are aware, there could be a delay to stage 2, which might impact the disposal of dogs that are brought into the pound.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you, Councillor Thomas. Yeah, I think we were aware that a petition had been submitted. If I'm honest, I wasn't aware that there might be then subsequent delays, but you know, obviously local authorities, in terms of operational practices, you know, the dog warden service, you know, their sort of role is ultimately to seize sort of and have detention and rehoming of stray dogs. So if there is communication required as a consequence of any delays to the legislation, all local authorities will be notified, no doubt in due course, but I'll certainly make sure that that message goes back to the officers anyway. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Kerry. I've also got an indication. Actually, Sarah, you're happy with that? I see a thumbs up. Great. I've got an indication as well from Councillor Wayne Talbot.
Yeah, very pleased to receive this report today because I was aware of an attack in my ward before Christmas where 2 XL bully dogs were loose, ripped a woman's face off virtually, and she ended up in the hospital. The attack took place near one of our primary schools, and her partner phoned me not just to complain about the dogs and the behaviour of the owner of the dogs, who was very unapologetic, but to point out the fact that there were children leaving school that afternoon and could be subject to an attack further. It was said that he had contacted our dog wardens. There was nothing they could do at the time other than to refer the gentleman to the police. I'm glad to see that we have some powers now to do something about stray XL bully dogs. So that's all I want to say, is pass a comment on. But it is a reality to us as councillors when we get these complaints in our wards. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. I'll bring in Councillor Suzanne Patterson.
Yeah, thank you. Very quickly, Chair. Very similar. I'm aware that there are two, and I'm not an expert of breeds of dog, but they look to me as if they are the XL bullies, down by the dunes. Now, I can understand that our officers have got powers for stray dogs, but they don't get down that part of the county borough, and I don't even know if they've got jurisdiction on that part. So it probably would be the police. But just to be aware that, you know, the undesirable types that are using these sort of dogs for protection will be in remote places. So I don't know how we can actually guard against that, except maybe rely on the police. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Kerry, did you want to respond on the enforcement?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I mean, only to respond, just to say, obviously, our dog warden service consistently works closely with police colleagues, so it would very much be a joint response, joint effort in terms of enforcing the legislation. But just to provide reassurance for members, you know, as soon as our officers are notified of an issue with a stray dog, and particularly with this breed, they will react accordingly. Thank you, Chair.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Kerry, for the response there. I can't see any other indications from members. Councillor Barton, could you lower your hand just so I can keep track of any further indications? No problem. So this report is for information, therefore we note the report. So I'll now move on to agenda item 8, which is the Regional Transport Plan update from the South West Wales Corporate Joint Committee on pages 23 to 42. Officers wish to add anything to the report before I go to questions?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Okay, fantastic. So I've got a question from Councillor Cathy James. Cathy?
Thanks, Chair. I was just wondering if any response, either formal or informal, had been received to the covering letter that went in with the plan, that's the word, on page 41, because obviously that it's quite important that both the funding is secured and that we know that we're working to a realistic timetable.
Thank you, Cathy.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor James. What we've had is some informal feedback that the implementation plan that's been set out has been acceptable. We were asked to make some minor alterations to the plan, but one of the things that was highlighted by officers of Welsh Government was the importance of alignment with the SDP, the Strategic Development Plan, in terms of planning. Obviously, that will be challenging because they are actually running on different timescales, but we will be consulting widely with colleagues on that. We also had some feedback saying that on approval of the implementation plan, that the £125,000 financial support would be forthcoming. That hasn't arrived yet, as all of the regions have been asked to forecast what they would spend by the end of this financial year. But there is a commitment then, if we don't spend all of that money, that it could be rolled forward, and that there is a promise of further financial support during the course of next financial year. So we'll be reporting back to the CJC in February. The only other thing I'd like to add at this moment in time is that officers are currently now working on the plan for change, and that is the next iteration of the process, which needs to be sent off to Welsh Government at the end of February. So I will be bringing back a further report to this committee once it's been considered by the Corporate Joint Committee.
Thank you. Is that okay, Cathy?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. That's really useful. Thank you.
Brilliant. And no, thanks for the response there, Dave, and we'll look forward to the further updates as they become available. I can't see any other indications from members on this item. Again, this is for information, therefore we note the report. So I'll now move on to agenda item 10, which is the traffic regulation order for Park Avenue and Sided Terrace on pages 57 to 72. David, do you wish to add anything before I go to questions from members?
Nothing to add to the report at this stage, Chair.
Okay, so I've got an indication on this one from Councillor Nathan Goldert-John. Nathan.
Thank you, Chair. Just a point of clarity from me. Was the original exemption missed, or is this as a result of a local member requesting it changed back to 30 mile an hour post 20 mile an hour implementation? Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, this is a result of feedback from the local member and the local community, and particularly residents on that street. So the request to reinstate it to a 30 limit has come from the local member.
Thank you. Nathan, did you wish to come back?
No, Chair, it's fine. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So this item is for decision for Cabinet, so we take a vote on it as a committee. So can I have a proposal and a seconder for the recommendation listed on page 62 of the Cabinet agenda pack, please?
Happy to propose.
Proposed by Councillor Wayne Carpenter and seconder.
Happy second, Chair.
Second by Mr Tim Bowen. Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, I will take it this decision is supported to Cabinet.
I see no indications to the contrary, therefore this decision is supported.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, so we'll now move on to agenda item 12, which is the traffic regulation order for Princess Margaret Way, Sandfields for Talbot, pages 87 to 102. Officers, do you wish to add anything to this report before I go to questions?
Just to alert members that this traffic order does actually apply to both Sandfields East and West, and that there is an error in the report that's been brought to my attention this morning, and I will obviously make that known to the Cabinet later on this morning.
Thank you, Dave. Got a question from Councillor Suzanne Patterson. Suzanne.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm not going to go back into the debate on this, even though I was against this at the time, but I'm just wondering about the consultation. Could officers explain how that will work, when it will work, and who is going to be consulted, basically? Thank you.
Yes, by all means, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Subject to approval to go to advertisement, the order will now be legally advertised. I think it's for a period of 21 days. But my traffic section will consult with local members on the extent of the survey required, but it would be contained to St Margaret's Avenue rather than a wider area. But the traffic team will actually consult with you on that. But I would, as a minimum, it would include businesses on the seafront, and of course residences nearby to the actual changes proposed.
Thank you. Suzanne, did you have any further questions?
Yes, I do have a follow-up. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this did you consider this is one of our destination tourist attractions for the county borough. It's one of the areas that we want people to come and visit. So it is going to affect more than just the businesses on Princess Margaret Way, and maybe the few houses back from the seafront. So the consultation on this really does affect far more residents than just the residents in Sandfields West. So I just think it's a little short-sighted to just limit it to businesses on the seafront and maybe one or two houses, streets that are bordering on it. Can I have an officer to comment on that, please?
Before I bring the officer back in, Suzanne, do you have a specific sort of request for additional consultation?
Well, I'm reticent, Chair, because we recently had a meeting to discuss something else where our voices were spoken. The 6 local councillors did say something in a meeting regarding a different item. I won't go into that now, but of course it costs to consult. So being that this is county, it will affect people from, you know, there are groups that come down from Carmarthen, from, well, all over the county borough. Everybody knows that the beach is somewhere that is attractive to members, and it is part of getting people to have exercise, fresh air, for communities to thrive is one of our objectives. So,
thanks. I'll bring the officer in now. I think we understand
I
what
haven't really got a set, sorry, Chair, I haven't really got a set question about how many to be consulted.
that's fine. Dave, do you want to come back?
So generally, where there are changes in connection with traffic orders specifically, our primary concern is the impacts local to those changes, and in particular residents that can be often find that the changes impact on them negatively. So we always consult for TROs in the locality and not, you know, a county-wide consultation in that respect. In terms of the wider tourism and heritage strategy, generally those consultations would be in terms of general principles. It's like many developments. If there's a development, for example, a new block of flats to be developed in the town centre, we wouldn't do a wide-ranging consultation. It would be a localised assessment to see what the impact of parking and traffic would be in the locality, and not the wider visitors to the town centre or the location.
Thanks. Just a point of clarity for me, or another question for clarity. When the orders are advertised, they will be open to anybody to respond to beyond that local area as well. So if somebody did see the advert in the newspaper, for example, a group could respond and give a view on that.
That's correct. It's open to the whole public to respond on it from further afield, outside of the county. It'll be advertised in the press.
Right.
It'll be on our pages. Yeah. And then there'll be the local communication and formal letter drop to the residents and businesses that we agree with the local members at that meeting.
Yeah, I just think, Chair, that sometimes you know, something that is affected locally has a far wider effect. So let's just see what the consultation brings in. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Suzanne. Okay, are there any other questions on this? I can't see any questions. So the recommendations for this item are listed on pages 89 to 90 of the Cabinet Agenda Pack. Can I have a proposer and a second? Proposed by Councillor Tim Bowen. Happy to second. And seconded by Councillor Carpenter. Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, I will take it this decision is supported to Cabinet.
See no indications to the contrary, Chair, therefore this decision is supported.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, so we'll now move on to agenda item 13, which is the commercial property grant for Royal British Legion Club in Eastland Road, Neath, on pages 103 to 108 of the agenda pack. Before I go to questions, do officers have anything to add to the report?
Nothing to add at the moment, Chair, but obviously happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Andrew. So I have two indications on this. First one is from Councillor Roslyn Davis. Ros.
Diolch yn fawr. I note from the report that there is no named applicant for the grant. I'm going to assume that the British Legion have actually sold the building to someone or a company or whatever.
Yes, Councillor, the building is owned by a local trader with a Neath address. They own the freehold of the property. There is no finance outstanding against the property, so there are no mortgages or loans. And we've carried out due diligence on the applicant as well.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.
Thanks both. I've got an indication as well from Councillor Wayne Carpenter.
Well, yeah, just to say, Chair, that I'm delighted to have this report presented before us. The British Legion building has sadly been an eyesore on the entrance into Neath and Eastland Road. I have concerns because of what has been on social media about the current occupiers, and I just wonder if Andrew might be able to alleviate any fears that might not be true anyway in the first place, and to know that, you know, well, for me anyway, I'm delighted to see this work going ahead at the British Legion building. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything on social media. Forgive me, Councillor, but we're content that the applicant is sound repute, and they've got the funds to carry out a comprehensive, high quality refurbishment of this building. With regards to your comment on the prominence of the building, just for members' information, we normally give up to 50% grant, which is what we're doing on this occasion. So we're within our parameters. We would normally only limit grants to about 50 or 60,000, but as you can see from the report, this grant is for 82,500. So we've stretched our limits on this one because of the prominence of the building. It is a gateway building for Neath, isn't it? On Stockham's Corner, and so we're content that the applicant is sound and that they will fulfil their obligations. So we've given the amount of 82,500 on this occasion.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew, for the clarity of reassurance there to the members. It's much appreciated. I can't see any other indications on this item. Members, the recommendations are listed on pages 110 to 111 of the Cabinet Agenda pack. Can I have a proposal and a seconder, please?
Happy to propose.
Proposed by Councillor Carpenter and seconded by Councillor Tim Bowen. Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary, I'll take it this recommendation is supported to Cabinet.
See no indications to the contrary, Chair. Therefore, this decision is supported to Cabinet.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, so members, I'll take you back to the scrutiny agenda now. So scrutiny agenda item 5 is urgent items. I can confirm I have none. And then for information, we have the committee action log on pages 19 to 20 and the forward work programme on pages 21 to 22. As usual with the forward work programme, members are free to contact myself, Tim or Tom at any time to discuss or request any items to be added on to the agenda for future meetings. So please take that opportunity to do so if you wish. We have decided not to scrutinise the private items or private item on today's agenda, the Cabinet agenda. Therefore, there's no further items for today's meeting, and that ends the business for today. So, diolch yn fawr, thank you very much for attending. Thank you for members and officers for their time and questions and answers today. Diolch.
Diolch pawb.